Starting with the beginning of the FirstNet Health and Wellness program, basically started in about 2020. When you look at FirstNet in particular, FirstNet provides connectivity, we provide devices. Bottom line, we provide a big pipe of data that public safety can be able to leverage for whatever uses they need, whether it's using a CAD device on an engine or an apparatus or a squad car, or whether it's just trying to communicate and have situational awareness at large-scale incidents. We provide the ability for people to connect and communicate. So when we talk about the genesis of the health and wellness program as it relates to the service that we provide as a core service from a FirstNet perspective, we collectively as a society have done a good job about talking about mental health, mental wellness. It's pretty much the buzzword of late, right? Everybody talks about having an improved mental sphere around themselves. We don't talk about why. We don't necessarily talk about what's happening on a boots on the ground level that necessitates wellness. So from that perspective, especially when you're talking about public safety agencies, when I was a firefighter with the Aurora Fire Department in Colorado, I would run these calls on a daily basis. You're up all night, you've got kids at home, you have a spouse at home. When you get home after running calls all night, the last thing they want to hear about is the fact that you were up all night because she's been by herself for the last 24 hours taking care of a child. So here's this, move forward, and I don't want to hear about any of your challenges. And that kind of piles up in your mind and in your psyche. So you have that. You have snippiness with your spouse every once in a while. Then you go back to work and you might have some challenges with your boss or with your administration. So those things kind of pile up. And as you lose sleep, you decide, well, gosh, I'm going to have 2 beers tonight instead of 1. Or maybe I'll have some hard alcohol even though I'm on shift tomorrow, just to take the edge off. And well, gosh, fentanyl's all the rage now, right? So let me just try that, see if that helps to take the edge off some more. These things pile on to each other to where they get to the point of they don't have an out. And oftentimes the rate of suicide among public safety individuals in particular is far and away above what the civilian population has. So I say all that because that's a profound problem and a challenge. But what it really takes away from is why we all got into the public safety sphere ourselves. When I was in the fire service, when my peers were in the fire service, why did we get into it? We got into that academy, we got into the law enforcement academy, EMS, to be an EMT, to help people, to do the right thing for our civilian neighbors. But if all these things are clouding our minds, and I get called and toned out to a structure fire, am I going to be able to do the best job in a calm, confident, cohesive manner to be able to manage that incident? Or are all these things that are clouding my mind not going to allow me, as Jeff Johnson says, do the right thing and do it at the right time, because we won't get a second chance. So all that to say, you can have all the connectivity you want. You can have all the capabilities and technology and iPads and situational awareness tools, but if your mind isn't there to be able to utilize it, what good are you? FirstNet recognized that, FirstNet invested in that, and we want to help to spread the word of why wellness is important by facilitating the same conversations we do by providing that pipe of data, but now we can take all of our relationships with all of the agencies that are around and in the country to say, let's have that conversation. And we built out the FirstNet Health and Wellness program, and we built out the coalition, which I'll talk about here a little bit later. But that is the genesis of the FirstNet Health and Wellness program. Boulder Crest Foundation is such a profound organization. If you are looking for an organization to donate to, you have extra money at the end of the year, and you're thinking, well, gosh, Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, they're all fantastic. Look to Boulder Crest. Boulder Crest is based out of Bluemont, Virginia. They started, and the genesis of that program was very battered, very bruised, very broken armed services personnel coming back from Iraq, Afghanistan, missing limbs. They were at their wits' end and they were this close to committing suicide. And what Boulder Crest does is utilizes a concept and a practice called post-traumatic growth to get them into a heavy-duty interventional on-premise program to help to show them that they can struggle well and that they do not have to commit suicide. It is a profound program and it helps our armed services personnel in an incredible way. There's obviously, as we've already articulated, a need for public safety to have some of the same services. So they went from armed services support to a struggle well experience, and that experience is for public safety. So police, fire, EMS, dispatch. Side note, dispatch is the hardest job, in my humble opinion, in all of public safety. Dispatch doesn't get closure. When I show up as a firefighter to a horrific scene, I pick up the phone, I say, okay, thanks, and then I hang up. What does that dispatcher do? They hear the chaos, and then they pick up the next phone, and they move forward with that. So thank a dispatcher if you ever see one. But that being aside, they facilitate that struggle well experience to help those individuals avoid the interest in suicide. But when you talk about moving to the other side of this, if we can keep people from getting to suicide by helping them struggle well, to those minutia, to the small details that they see, the small calls that wear on them every single day, they can appreciate that, they can acknowledge it, they can deal with it in the right way, and then move forward and actually perform better in their day-to-day job. The Struggle Well program that we send out to departments is absolutely profound. And we saw a need to partner with Boulder Crest to help escalate and accelerate that effort so that they could get to more people quicker. And to date, they've touched 20,000 police, fire, EMS, first responders with the Struggle Well program, and that's only growing. And that's really where the partnership comes into play. In addition to the FirstNet Health and Wellness program, which includes a number of different things like the ROG the Dog program, which I would love to chat a little bit about. A lot of the programs that we have, we are just talking about. We're using the pulpit that we have and we enjoy as such a great and large organization to talk about and sound off on wellness needs. So we talk about a lot of that. We have an internal peer support program. When we're sending our people to Hurricane Helene, to hurricanes that hit the area, they see things that they weren't trained to see. So we have a peer support program in-house that we've built so we can support them in their time of need. So we have all of those things. The core component and the thing that I'm most proud of is the Health and Wellness Coalition. So this coalition is exactly as it sounds. We went and found key leaders from basically all walks of the public safety sphere. So you think about the union leadership like IAFF, Fraternal Order of Police. You think about the executive leadership, IAFC, so the International Association of Fire Chiefs, Police Chiefs. Everybody that has anything to do with public safety that represent about 5.1 million responders are a part of this coalition, and our sole appreciation and interest is to facilitate that conversation with them so we can say, all right, what are the challenges that you see in your individual organizations or portions of your response? Let's talk about those. Let's see where we can have cohesive agreement, and let's see what we can do about making a model for all agencies to potentially follow to move forward. And one example of that we've been working on in particular is we've kind of built you can think of it as an umbrella framework. So the way that I liken this is myself as a firefighter. When I was in this and I was talking about peer support and things like that, is I'm very interested in supporting this, but I don't know where to start. But a chief who's very interested in this may say, okay, you're on light duty for 6 months. It's now your job to build a peer support program for our department. Okay, where do I start? How do I get that going? So what we've built is a dedicated portal that will showcase, all right, if you're building a wellness program in your police, your fire, your EMS agency, here are the 5 things that you need to do in order to build yourself a foundational level of wellness so that you can start and hit the ground running. But if you do have a wellness program that's in place in your department, here's the other 5 things that you can do to get up to a gold standard. So this program is fantastic, and then depending on what agency you're with, you can now dive down deeper. Okay, I'm in telecommunications, I can learn how to set up a peer support program for telecommunications because this is how it works. So again, facilitating the discussion and getting a lot of people set so they can at least not know where to not start. They can get in and begin building a process and a program quickly. So we have a program called ROG the Dog. We have a program within AT&T in total and FirstNet called the Response Operations Group. So anytime there is a need to deploy a mobile cell tower on wheels anywhere in the country within 14 hours, the Response Operations Group is the team that makes that happen. So we're able to facilitate that work, and the Response Operations Group is the core, it's the bedrock of the FirstNet program from an emergency response perspective. So what better way to call out our therapy dog program than calling it ROG the Dog? It's got a great ring to it. So basically in 2020, we have good friends in a partnership with Global Medical Response, or AMR Ambulance. They have a massive wellness therapy dog program that's nationwide. So what we did is we partnered with them and we said, listen, therapy animals are proven scientifically to take the edge off of individuals when they are in a stressful situation. So when you're talking about somebody like a dispatcher, dispatch is the absolute hardest job in public safety, in my humble opinion. When they are seated in that dispatch telecommunicator seat for 12 hours a day, it can be very wearing on them. To have a therapy dog that's trained to notice the stressors that they have, come up to them, nuzzle up to them, it's scientifically proven that that will help to, at a bare minimum, take the edge off of the stress that they're feeling, but more so, it will help them to improve upon their wellness in a very marked way. So with that in mind, we got to do this. Let's absolutely partner. Let's see how we can create a program similar to the Response Operations Group, where we deploy assets and solutions, but make it a live wellness animal, a Labradoodle with a handler that we can deploy anywhere across the country. So that's the Rog the Dog program. Most recently, we're recording this in the fall of 2024. We've had a number of different hurricanes that come through. We have supported and have been in South Carolina and North Carolina within 48 hours notice to go to the State Emergency Operations Center, to go to the individuals that are doing the response on the ground, to just help them ease through the challenges that they're facing and the things that they're seeing on a daily basis. And the other thing to add to it is we took that same animal to our network disaster recovery camp. The gentlemen and ladies who are actually building the network back up and deploying the deployables and satellite colts and generators, we went there to help support with Rog the Dog as well. So it's a fantastic program. It's basically an emergent or kind of planned only basis. If you have a need in your department, call us. We'll do our best to support you and get you a wellness animal out there. The Public Safety Broadband Technology Association Vision User Summit is such a cool program. I think this is the third year now, if I remember correctly. I've been here for every single one of them, both in my capacity as a Response Operations Group Deputy Chief, and now as a wellness ambassador for FirstNet. This program is so fantastic. If you want to learn what is going on, what the latest, greatest within the FirstNet ecosystem is, this is the conference to come to. And when we were planning this out and looking at, all right, we're coming to this anyway. We've got a great group of people coming forward, and we have our Health and Wellness Coalition, which is the coalition of individuals that want to make a difference and seed change. It's a perfect marriage. So we took advantage of both all the work that the PSBTA did in logistically setting this up and inserted ourselves in and grabbed a room, and we had our Health and Wellness Coalition meeting in concert with this. So what that looked like was our team of high-level executives would come in the morning, they would go to all of the different sessions and opening sessions and get to enjoy and interact with everybody else that's part of this program. And then in the afternoon, we would sit down and we would have intensive working sessions to both see what we've done over the past year and plan for what our agenda and our efforts as a coalition will be for 2025. So that's what we've been doing here. It's a symbiotic relationship, perfect for us to be able to partner with all of you at PSBTA. And we're going to be back next year, and we really appreciate the partnership.
Great, and talk to us more.
Yeah, Boulder Crest is such a profound organization. We are so proud to partner with them in the work that they do, both for our veteran community, active duty military, and of course our public safety. So with that partnership, we were able to say, hey, Josh from Boulder Crest, he's the CEO, can you come out and just be a part of this? Can we utilize your voice to really be a part of this entire program? So he has a booth here, and we've been talking a lot about that. He joined every one of our sessions for the Health and Wellness Coalition, provided his voice, provided a snapshot of what Boulder Crest does so people can get an appreciation for their Struggle Well program. And then just today, we finished a fantastic fireside chat plenary panel with him, Josh Goldberg, who's the CEO, Joe Wood, who's his operations chief, and then Patrick Fail, who is a chief in the Pacific Northwest, who absolutely loves the program. From a moderator's perspective, having those three gentlemen up on stage was the easiest job a moderator could have because they are so profoundly intelligent, passionate about what they do, and there were some definitely glistening eyes as we were talking about the struggles and the challenges that public safety faces and what we're doing to help facilitate some semblance of a resolution for them. So having Boulder Crest here, they can't beat it. When I look at the vision from today moving forward and what we've done in the past between PSBTA, FirstNet, and Boulder Crest in particular, We are truly, and I don't say this with any braggadociousness at all, saving lives as a result of this. There are members, and we talked about it this morning, who were permanently disabled because of their mental wellness challenges, and they were sent to basically retire. They went through the Boulder Crest program, they became and acknowledged the challenges that they had, and they came back to work. That's profound. So not only are we helping people survive from the threat of suicide in their personal lives, we're helping them to get back to what they got in the job for in the first place so that they can continue serving the civilians that they swore to protect. It's such a perfect relationship, and to have all three of us in the same room together having that discussion, can't beat it. From anything else that I would like to add is just a thank you in total for the collaboration that we have, not just with PSBTA, not just with FirstNet and the leadership of AT&T in particular, but none of this happens unless the people who came together many years ago to say, I want my own dedicated public safety network, and lobbied for that and got it passed through Congress. That's one thing, get it passed through Congress. It's another thing to get the network built up using the partnership with AT&T, but for them to continue with that partnership and engagement, that's the only thing that makes a lot of these conversations happen, because they still have a lot of work that they want to have done on behalf of their members, and we're here to do it for them, but we can only do that with their feedback and their engagement. So that would be my biggest thank yous to all the public safety officials that are still engaged with us moving forward.